Hey, what's up? Today's video, we're going to be going over the May live stream. They do a live stream every month. That is Kabam, going over the new update. And I would like to do a live stream recap for every month. So please let me know down in the comments if you want to see this every single month. I did one for the collectives in the middle of April. We're going to go ahead and go over the May live stream. But yeah, please drop a like, subscribe, do all that. Let's get into it. I will say the stream is still going, but I wanted to go ahead and start on it early because we're near the end of the stream. It's been going for an hour and a half, so I'm sure they're not going to go much longer. So we're going to go ahead and already jump into it. So most of the beginning of the stream was just stuff that's going on in the past. There's not really much there that we need to go over. Just America Chavez, Saga, announcements, all that. But I wanted to start on the Blade Stellar Forge. You can now currently get Blade right now, right this instant, if you do all the stuff. All this should be available to get besides the Alliance War Encounter Showcase, so if you miss that, you'll have to spend some units. But everything else you should be able to get, and you should be able to get your first appearance Stellar Forge Blade. So I just wanted to go over that real quick. Next up, the April event quest. It'll end this Sunday, so it's ending a little bit earlier. It's just a couple days earlier, nothing crazy. And he talked about in that window of that Sunday to that Wednesday, they will be going over the rewards. And if you hit Elder before that time frame and you've already completed the April EQ, you will get compensated for your rewards when the next May event launches, if I'm getting that correctly. But yeah, so basically just hit Elder as soon as you can. I said that in the last video. I've been saying that in every video, basically. Just hit Elder as soon as you can. But yeah. The May event quest will begin at normal time, so as soon as the update drops, it'll be launching. But usually the event quest leaves with the update, but this one's just leaving on this Sunday, so in 2 days. So get your event quest done, get Elder, do all that good stuff. All right, next up is actually updates. So they talked about this in the last month's update, or last month's stream. There will be a difficulty selector, so if it's too difficult, you can lower it, but there's really not going to be no point to unless you are a very low roster, because it's really not that hard. And then there's classic difficulty skip. You will be able to skip right to Elder difficulty when the event quest launches, which is amazing. That saves me a ton of time. It's like an hour and a half of grinding through quests just to get Elder, and then you got to spend another 3 hours on Elder, so that's really, really nice. And clear reward spread when completing a quest, which is also another great quality of life improvement. Hopefully it stays and it doesn't leave in the next update, because they like to do that a lot. But yeah, just some more event quest stuff, nothing too crazy. And then we get down here. There's one more thing about event quest is the boss will just be a big version of that boss. It won't have like any crazy nodes on it. So like this month's Ghost Rider and Wave, it'll just be like a big version of those waves, so kind of like a BG style fight, to where you can kind of test out how they're going to be on defense or not. I think that's a great quality of life change. I absolutely love that change. I've been wanting this for a while. But yeah, that should be all the EQ stuff. Now we get into a new permanent game mode. They did not give us many details at all. They just said it was a PvE game mode and it was endless, and that you have to be skilled and you have to have a pretty nice roster. Besides that, it's open to all summoners, and there'll be a leaderboard. But besides that, they really have not gave us any more information on this. They said it'll be launching in June, so I'm assuming the end of this month update or stream, that's usually like on June 1st or whatever, the beginning of the month, they will have gameplay of this new game mode, but we don't know anything else about it. That's just kind of a recap of what they talked about. If you want to, you can pull up the stream and watch it all for yourself. I'm just trying to give you guys a quick recap, because I know not everybody has 2 hours of their day to sit here and watch a live stream. But next up, just talking about 9.4, Elder, all this good stuff. Just get Elder. Also, this concept art, hold on. This art, I love this art. Hold on, where's that? This art's really sick. Anyways, benefits of being Elder, they talked about this last month, but basically everything in the game is just getting an update with Elder. So you really want to get Elder, because a lot of the rewards are going to be tuned up, and that includes special events like spending events, which we'll talk about because we are getting a new spending event this month. We are already getting an Elder version of that spending event. So hit Elder as soon as humanly possible if you can. Talked about this yesterday in a very short video. The Elder login calendar. There is a 7-star Jean Grey. Make sure you log in every single day for 25 days to get your free Jean Grey. But yeah, and then the next thing we will go over is Thor Ragnarok. So we did not get any gameplay of Thor Ragnarok at all. We just got the same picture. But I will say they went over one thing. He is going to be a permanent champion in the Twitch Drop store. So if you've missed streams in the past, you can still earn this observance currency and you'll be able to get Thor in the future. They said they have no plans for the longest time to take him out of the store. So for the foreseeable future, he will be in the store. So just watch your streams, watch the streams every single week with CCP drops, and you will be able to obtain a free Thor. But they said you will be able to get Thor in June. His update will go live with the June update, and we will get gameplay then. But they just kind of gave us a little bit of an update on him. But June should be when we get the gameplay. Then this kind of just shows everything like I just said. Here's a slide if you want to pause and read all this, but just kind of what I just said. And then more details next month. So, here's one thing I really want to talk about. The Apex Coliseum, they talked about it, just talked about how they thought it's been going good and whatever. But the Airwalker boss is not affected by this, but there's a new update to the after 5 health bars, the challenge you have to do. So before it was mediums and lights, and then they changed it to heavies and strikers, which I thought was amazing. That is the greatest change they could have done. But now they're making, I think, is a pretty poor change. I have not played with this. Nobody has played with this, so nobody knows. But just kind of looking in and just on the outside looking in, I don't think this is a good change. I'm really, really worried about this. The heavy and the striker change was so good for going up in those higher tier health pools because it was so easy to do that and counter a special with a lot of heavies and strikers. The mediums and light combos were really hard to do once you get up the high health pools because the timer was so short, but the heavies you only had to hit them once. So this really worries me. What happens if you're all the way in their corner and you get a thing on your corner? You get the charge and it's on your corner and you have to dash all the way back. You probably won't have enough time to do that, and the tempo is probably going to throw you off very, very much. So I'm really, really worried about this change. Hopefully it's not as bad and it's very forgiving, but I'm really worried that this is going to make Coliseum way more difficult. Because so far Coliseum has been just difficult enough to where it is fun and exciting, but it's not been too hard to where it's just annoying to do. But yeah, this is only for the Ebony Maw boss, the final boss, so not the next week's Airwalker boss. But yeah. Then they talked about a new side quest. So last month's side quest was the boxing with Titania. This month's side quest is actually a very, very shortened version of Coliseum. Here's the slides, and if you want to pause and read all this. But basically, there will be 6 bosses. Each you can get 150 points instead of 80 like the solo Coliseum. But there is a 5-minute timer like AW. But the bosses do not get stronger at all. You just fight the same 300k health pool 300k health pool bar every single time, and you get damage, you get furies added on to your own kit, and you get extra damage. So they have gameplay of Null. He's hitting like 250k mediums. So this is not as big as it seems. It's actually, it looks pretty fun, and it just looks like a very fun side quest. They have been cooking with these side quests lately. I have absolutely loved everything they've done with side quests. It has been absolutely amazing. So I hope they keep doing it. But we should have gameplay here. We'll go ahead and play it here. But yeah, he's already at 72 health bars. Every hit is doing 200k damage almost. So yeah, it looks like it's just going to take 2 to 3 fights. 2 to 3 good fights and you'll be done with the boss. But still, it's pretty cool to see that you can ramp up this much. But yeah. New roll Coliseum side of it. Looks sick. I love it. But next up, oh, also there's a Realm event. I called this too. I was in a good friend of mine, I guess not a good friend, but I was in a YouTuber stream last night talking to him, and we talk a lot, and I was like, man, they should really add a Realm event. Well, they did. So there's a bunch of stuff you can get for the Realm event. You'll get 20 action figures for America Chavez. Of course, you really want to be chasing those action figures to get a free 7-star Ascended America Chavez. But basically, it just looks like if you just do the Roll Coliseum, you just do it normally like any other side of it, you're going to be adding stuff to the Realm event. Every Realm event we've usually maxed out. So I'm not too worried about maxing out the Realm event or anything like that. But it's really cool that we have another Realm event. And this will be going for almost a month, a good portion of a month, about 20 days, 21 days. So about 3 weeks. So the whole side quest, it'll be irrelevant. But yeah. Then we get to, here's kind of the rewards that they show for the realm event. And you're probably wondering, man, what is that key for? Well, we get this year's Heart of Fire event announcement. And it's not called Heart of Fire. It's called the Metamorphosis event. And I will say, at first glance, I was very underwhelmed. Very, very underwhelmed compared to last year's Heart of Fire, where we got Nick Fury, Ant-Man, Ant-Man Future, that is, Eye-Bomb, Tigra, Dark Phoenix, all those good champions. I was very underwhelmed, but they did get me in the end. So let's go ahead and talk about it. So, the new event is the Metamorphosis event, and these are the 6 champions you can get. And you're probably looking at me right now thinking, what the hell? What the hell, Tanner? Why are these the 6 champions you can get? They are all base pool champions. Why do we have a whole event surrounded around them? And at first glance, I was thinking the exact same thing. I thought they lost their rocker. But then I kind of thought again, and I'm like, well, probably Ascension, and that's exactly what it is. The keys are going to be Ascension materials for the champions, and still, even at that, I was still very, very scared. I'm like, man, this does not seem worth it. But with Elder and stuff, you will be getting extra stuff. So me, I'm an Elder, so I will get extra stuff for this event. And it looks like it's going to be a very unit-heavy event. I think that's how it is. So if you don't want to spend a lot of units, or if you don't have a lot of units, you're probably not going to be able to go far. You'll probably have to spend a lot of money on crystals. But if you have a lot of units, then you can go far in this event. So yeah. There'll be solo milestone track for opening up crystals, featuring a lot of rank ups. There'll be offers. It'll be connected to solo Coliseum rewards. So just do everything in the contest during May, during this event. But then we talk about the actual rewards. So there are 12 box keys available across this event. 5 box keys in the crystal opening solo event. 1 at 600 net unit spent for Valiant Plus. Basically, that means buy 2 crystals and you get a box key for kind of free. 4 box keys in the offer, so those will be on the web store. If you whale out all the way, you'll get 4 extra box keys. And then there will be 2 box keys in the realm event, and then 1 box key in the summer sigil. So basically spend $10 on the summer sigil and you'll get a free box key. It's not really free, it's $10. But there are 12 box keys across the whole event. That's the most you can get. You're probably thinking, man, how am I going to Ascension 2 with 12? Because you would have to pull 3 copies of each champion. That is 18. Yeah, I think I did my math right. Yes, I did my math right. But that being said, here it is. Each box pull awards 2 times champion tokens. I love that. That is the best change they could have made to make this event just a little bit better. Because even at this point, I was still very skeptical. I was still very worried because none of these champions interest me that much. There are some solid champions here, but they're nothing too crazy. So I was really worried. But this right here excites me because this means that if you pull a champion twice, they are Ascended 2. And a lot of these champions are very good on Ascension 2. I will say, White Tiger is probably the weakest here. If I pull a White Tiger, I'm not going to be happy. But Iron Man, Atuma, Spot, all these champions are two-way champions besides White Tiger and kind of Iron Man. But I actually don't think this is terrible. It is nowhere near last year's Heart of Fire event at all. This is on the level of like the Poolies event. So I personally don't believe I will be spending much units on this, but it is not a bad event. And I think this is a pretty good way to keep the game kind of like to where whales don't get too far ahead with Ascension, but whales can still get some cool stuff. And free-to-play players don't have to really spend because none of these champions are the craziest champions in the world. It's not like they put a CGR 7-star in the game. So, like I expected, or I was hoping they would. But that being said, they also announced a buff. They're actually buffing Atuma, sorry. They're basically just buffing his kit. Everything in his kit's just getting a little bit of a buff. It's just quality of life stuff. They show some gameplay. I'm going to be honest, the gameplay did not look that exciting, though. I still don't think he's that good on attack. But, I mean, this is only Ascension 1, Rank 4, so Rank 5, Ascension 2, basically a Rank 6 Atuma could be absolutely crazy. And he's just going to be that much more annoying on defense, which sucks. But, yeah, this is the gameplay they showed. he looks to be a pretty good counter to evaders because that true accuracy is basically going to be up for a very, very long time. He actually does look like a very good utility field champion now. With just those minimal buffs, he actually does look pretty good. But then they go ahead and talk about one more thing. They're going to update Iron Man 2. So when you double tap your special, you're not launching your regen. It's a very good quality of life change. I'm so glad they launched this. But those are really the only buffs as of now that we've got. And then this is just a solo milestone track. Similar unit cost to previous crystal events, so probably 300 per crystal. Lots and lots of rank up resources. They did say this is going to be packed with rank up resources. These rank up items work on any ascendable champion. I love this. Any champion in the game that can be ascendable. So that is like 40-ish, 40 plus champions, if not more. We're probably knocking on 50 champions now in the game that can be ascendable. So yeah, that is great. And a lot of those champions are the ones you have up at the highest rarity. Not only the 6-star Metamorphosis champions, or not only the 6 Metamorphosis champions, just any ascendable champion. 2 4 to 5 gems for Elder Summoners. 1 standard 4 to 5 gem for Valiant. New 4 to 5 trade-in gem. Hold it to trade in when you're Elder, or trade it in now for Tier 5 Alpha. Basically what this means, if you're Valiant, you spend on the event, and then you get this trade-in gem, and then if you wait till you hit Elder, you can trade it in, you just get a 4 to 5 gem instead of Catalyst. That's great. I love it. Trade-in store lasts until June 3rd. You basically got a 21-day period to do that. So yeah, you really, really want to become Elder as soon as humanly possible. But yeah, event crystals. Elder Metamorphosis Crystal, Valiant Metamorphosis Crystal, Purchase Empowered Grace Crystals. Metamorphosis Crystals are actually 200 units each. I did not read this. 200 units, so it's not as bad. So you have to spend 3 to get that free key or whatever. And also are found in Roll Call, ASEAN Realm Events, and even offers. So yeah, that is the Metamorphosis event. This is just more Realm Event stuff. It's just talking about all the free crystals you'll be able to get. But yeah. So far, this event actually looks pretty balanced. I'm pretty happy with the balancing of the event. The only problem is we've had so many good events that are just like whale milking fiestas that it just sucks to see an event like this, because it looks like a very, very solid event for free-to-play players and everybody, so nobody gets too far ahead of the game. It's kind of a, I don't know. It's glass half full kind of event. I personally really like it now that I've read everything and I know more about it. I still don't know if I'll go insanely deep into the event because I really want to save my units for the end of the year. But yeah, pretty good event. Not as great as I thought it was. Here's kind of more... oh yeah, I forgot. Sorry guys. One more thing. Man, I'm all over the place. There is rank up gems in these crystals. First time they've ever added this, they have rank up gems in the crystal. So there's a 0.02% chance you can just pull a 4 to 5 gem out of a crystal. So I already know there's going to be insane openings. So yeah, this is a very good change. I really like this. I think on all events, they should add event rank up gems to put in the crystals. It's just better things to get. But yeah, and then we get to the milestone track. This is just for the spending. I'm not going to spend on this probably. And then they just close it out with the Metamorphosis event. So yeah, that's the event. That's the Heart of Fire event we're getting this month. Nothing too crazy, but it is pretty solid and balanced. I'm actually pretty okay with it. But then we go ahead and we get into some gameplay. We go ahead and get into the Ghost Rider gameplay, which, look at this image. This is absolutely insane. I love this image. But let's go ahead and get into the gameplay. Nope. Alright, here we go. Ghost Rider gameplay. He looks sick, by the way, guys. Yeah, those animations are just absolutely insane. He just seems like he has a lot of utility in his kit, which I love utility field champions. And he looks pretty simple to play. He just looks like OG Ghost Rider. But yeah, that's the Ghost Rider gameplay. We also show some Dark Phoenix gameplay against. He's a Dark Phoenix counter, which is sick. I'm assuming he's Nova Flame immune. They don't talk about it, but I'm assuming he is. So that's pretty nice. They show as part of his SP3. Great Maestro counter as well, and that is the Ghost Rider gameplay. Ghost Rider looks so good, dude. He just looks so good. He has great power steal. He has great power lock. He has great power control. Great damage. His way you do damage is awesome. It is so sick. You just do the penance stare. But reading his abilities, I did not read them earlier. He is only bleed and incinerate immune. Why is he not Nova Flame immune? I don't get that. Why is he not Nova Flame immune? I really hope that he is Nova Flame immune and they just forgot to put that there, but that makes no sense that he's not Nova Flame immune. He literally, oh my gosh. That kind of bugs me, but everything else in this kit looks absolutely insane, and I really, really want this champion. I really want this new Ghost Rider. He just looks so good. But yeah, if you want, you can pause this, read all the abilities. But yeah, that's Ghost Rider for you. And then we go ahead and we have live gameplay. I'm not going to watch the live gameplay. Then he also shows him pulling his first 5-star, which was a Ghost Rider. But yeah, let's go ahead and hop into the Wave gameplay, wherever it is. There we go. Wave gameplay. So I don't know much about this character at all, but she looks pretty fun. She looks really, really fun. I don't know if she looks like anything crazy, but at the end of the day, she looks really, really fun to play. And I like really, really fun champions. She also has a way to counter miss. She has like a Morbius dash. A lot of good utility in the kit so far. I'm really liking this champion. A great Nico counter too. We could use more Nico counters because Nico is just tuned to the moon. But yeah, look at that burst. That was a 30k burst, just like that. And she has many, many hits in her kit, so. She's good with poison. Yeah, she's very solid. She looks very, very solid. I'm actually pretty happy with this character. She looks really, really cool. I actually kind of want to pull her. But yeah, that is Wave. We'll go ahead and pull up her abilities wherever they're at. I don't know. There we are. Reduces poison and incinerate duration by 75%. I love characters that reduce that. And I believe she gets a regen for those, kind of like Ant-Man Future. She can heavy stun after a combo, which is nuts. I love that. I love those free openings. She gains Fury when intercepting and causing miss. Doesn't gain precision from dexterity. Gains Fury instead. She just looks like an overall great science character. Just has a bunch of different science characteristics in her kit, which is nuts. I love that. So yeah, that's Wave. I don't want to spend too long talking about them because I want to make a video on their deep dives respectively. But yeah, that is Wave and Ghost Rider. Those are our new champs for the month of May, and they look really, really great. I'm pretty happy with them. But let's go ahead and move on. Dave actually showed up, which is pretty cool. He's looking good. And then Dex, they talked about how Dex, when you get that dodged thing, you can dodge champions now. Basically, any champion that can dodge instead of Dex will prioritize dodge over Dex. Meaning, if you have a dodge champion like Dazzler, Spider-Man 2099, you can dodge Serpent's SP2, you can dodge Photon's SP2 when she's in light mode, all that. So yeah, great quality of life update. Collectives, and then we get into the end of the stream where I kind of left off and they started talking about collectives. There's a lot of stuff. I'm going to try to skim through this because I talked about it in my recent live stream recap video. So if you want to hear all about collectives, go watch that. So I will try to get a lot talked about, but I don't want to have this video going on forever. That being said, first thing is just the collectives overview. If you want to, pause, read this. But this is what we know and what I talked about in my last live stream recap. Basically, you just get champions, earn points for those champions, rank up those champions, earn more points. The highest rarity earns you the most. Whatever. Those are your captains. So yeah, this is all the stuff we learned in the last stream. And then this is another thing we learned. Launches May 6th. So basically next week when the update launches, we all will have collectives. I will hopefully be streaming and showing off collectives because it looks absolutely insane. But that being said, it's just more stuff about collectives. The 7-star of all his Zemos is the captain because he is the highest rarity. This kind of shows off the image of like what they look like. So since he does not have a 7-star Ghost Rider in his roster yet, his 6-star is the highest level. But same with Dormammu. Since he does not have a 7-star Dormammu, it's not the game yet. But yeah, same with Doctor Doom. So yeah, it's just whatever rarity is the highest, you get the most points, and ranking them up gives you the most points. 6 stars, I believe. Rank 4, Ascended 1 is the max you can get. And 7 stars, you just want to rank them up as high as you can. So yeah. Oops. That being said, that's all we kind of know. And then this is just the points. Go back a little bit. This is just the points. And then here's the levels. We showed all this in the last stream or the last video on the stream. But now, here we get into the new information. Class collective benefits. There are new images, by the way, new profile pictures when you hit the max level in a collective. They look sick. I want these really bad, but nobody's hitting collective 25. They made sure to set that in stone that nobody on launch can hit collective 25. It's just impossible. There's not enough champions in the game to reach that. They will be close, but not there yet. So basically what you get for doing your collectives, on top of the rewards, you get stat boost for the individual class, combat bonuses themed towards that class, we'll talk about that later, class themed titles and emotes, rewards for ranking up your collective, so those are like the Ascension crystals and all that, but these are what we talk about today, and these are the new things that we talk about. So, benefits of collectives, we talked about this last week. This is kind of like the shortest way to talk about this. It doesn't go in deep detail right here, so we'll go in more detail later. But if you want to pause and read all this, but here's kind of the stat bonuses. If it'll load, I don't know why my stream is not loading. Oop. There we go. Here's the stat bonuses. So at rank 1, base health plus 3%, rank 2, attack rating plus 3, rank 6 plus 3, and it just goes on and on and on, and then until you're maxed out. So basically at the end, it kind of just looks like you're gonna end up having like almost half an Ascension level on top of everything. So it's really hard to explain, but basically if you were Ascension level 2, rank 4, you would almost be like rank 4 Ascension level 2.5 with all this extra stuff. So you really want to be upgrading those collectives. So yeah, these are just kind of like the generic things they give you, but then we go ahead and talk about some class advantages. So when fighting class advantage, increase class advantage effects by 5%, gain more targeted stat boost with class advantage. So these are all stuff you get when fighting with class advantage. You do that a lot in BGs. That's one of the best ways to fight. So collectives will help you there too. So you want to be upgrading your collectives once again. And then we get into the benefits of collectives. We talked about this purple bonus damage, but there are certain RPG mechanics in the game. So for example, they're going to show off this Toad gameplay, and for, I'm assuming, mutants, if you regen health, you will build up this basically meter of bonus damage. And if you've ever fought the Heimdall and Epoch of Pain, that battery, that's kind of how it is, but there isn't like a battery or anything on your screen. That's just kind of how it is. The more you do it, the more damage you build up to a certain limit. I don't know what the limit is, but they have some gameplay that they show. So here we go. I think I passed it. Oh, yeah, I did pass it. So here we go. He gets hit a couple of times to build up his regen, and then he launches a special one, and there is purple damage. I will try to pause it on it. There is that purple damage number. Because he regens so much, he got extra damage on top of everything, and nobody is immune to that damage. You do that no matter what. So it's really great. Collectives on defense, they just give you a little extra boost, but yes, collectives will work for your defenders as well. So when you're fighting a champion, collectives are benefiting that champion you're fighting. But then we get into the different class things that each class gets. So basically, skill, gets personal bleed potency. Every 15th guaranteed crit builds 100% bonus damage dealt by your next hit. So this is their RPG mechanic for skill. You're going to want your hit monkeys, your basically just guaranteed crit champions. There are very limited of those in the skill class, but there's a lot of champions that can crit well, so they will be able to access that bonus damage. But they did say they did it on purpose. Every challenge, a lot of champions in that class, or a good portion of them, can't access because they want it to be kind of not a limited thing, but they want certain champions to be played more than others. So they want non-meta characters to kind of get benefited by this the most. So champions like your Hitmonkey is going to get benefited by this a lot because Cruelty, you're going to be hitting harder crits. Critmonkey crits all the time. Bleeds, you always have bleeds on the opponent. So champions like Zemo is going to be really good. But basically, each rank will have certain buffs. So rank 25, removing a debuff with a personal Purify or Cleanse builds 120% bonus damage dealt by the final hit of a special. Nobody's going to be rank 25. Very limited are going to be rank 15. So most of these bottom three you're not going to feel on the day one, but you're going to feel rank 4 for almost all of them. So we'll go ahead and move on to the Science. Science, personal fury base potency increased by 2.5%. It does not sound like a lot, but it's just a little bit, just enough to give you that extra damage, plus on top of the regular damage you're getting from the regular collective bonus. Every 15th personal burst of damage builds 100% bonus damage dealt by your next hit. Great damage, or great utility. Personal power sting base potency increased by 2.5%. Spider-Woman and Pig, rank 4s on my account. They're going to love that. And then inflicting a personal wither or petrify builds 120% bonus damage dealt by the final hit of a special. So, not every Science champion can access this, but there's a good majority that can, and that's going to buff them up even more. So yeah, also, if you guys feel free to pause on these, take a screenshot or whatever you need of each class. I'm kind of going through quick so I can get through everything in a certain decent amount of time. Mystic, personal poison base potency increased by 5%. There's very limited poison mystics in the game, so that is pretty neat, actually. Every 10th inflicted personal poison or degen builds 100% bonus damage dealt by your next hit. This is great for champions that just came out, like Madeline Pryor, Ghost Rider, or something like that. Personal degen base potency increased by 5% at rank 18. In rank 25, removing a buff with a personal nullify or stagger builds 120% bonus damage dealt by the final hit of a special. So, once again, great Mystic things, but like I said, a lot of Mystic, or there's a decent amount of Mystics that can't access both of these bonus damages. So that's another way they're trying to buff up other champions, non-meta champions, to get them relevant in today's game. Then we have the Cosmic class. Personal armor break potency increased by 5%, CGR. Every 10th inflicted personal incinerate or bleed builds 100% bonus damage dealt by your next hit. Personal aptitude and intensify base potency increased by 5% at rank 18. At rank 25, activating a personal True Strike, True Accuracy, or Undermine builds 120% bonus damage dealt by the final hit of a special. So once again, very, very nice things to have, but not every character can access this. I really, really like this idea, by the way. This is a very, very great idea to have something that not every character can access, but maybe non-meta characters can, to give them just that little more edge, even with Ascension, like Gore. Gore's going to love this bonus damage on top of the Ascension, on top of everything else, to make Gore like a top-tier cosmic character, probably. I really, really like this idea. And then we have the Tech. Personal Shock, Incinerate, or Plasma base potency increased by 5%. Every 10th inflicted Personal Shock or Power Burn builds 100% bonus damage dealt by your next hit. Personal Cowardice base potency increased by 10%. And at rank 25, inflicting a personal heal block builds 120% bonus damage dealt by the final hit of the special. So, good tech stuff. They have it all tuned to where it's just certain class things, where it's certain class archetypes, which is pretty cool. And then finally, for the Mutant class, Personal Paralysis base potency increased by 5%, which is pretty nice for a lot of champs. Storm's going to feel that really well. Every 10th inflicted Personal Neuroshock or Bleed builds 100% bonus damage dealt by your next hit. So, your onslaughts, your free Jean Grey that you can get by logging in, it's going to feel that. Personal Neuroshock base potency increased by 5%. That's actually really, really nice for those champions. 5% is a lot, actually. Activating a personal regen or unblockable builds 120% bonus damage dealt by the final hit of a special. So, once again, that's what got showed off in that Toad showcase. But yeah, and then More targeted benefits at rank 20 for each class collective. There will be a RPG mechanic that can be triggered 3 times that heals a total of 6% of your max health. That sounds like 18% of your max health can be healed during a fight. This required trigger source will vary depending on which class collective this is activated from. This is also really cool. Adding more RPG mechanics to the game, I think, is really, really fun. Especially if it's things like this that you don't have to use for damage or to make a fight better, but you can use them if you feel comfortable enough to make it easier. I really, really like that. And then we have collective bonuses. Just kind of showed off in the last. All this got showed off in the last stream. But here is something that did not got showed off. This kind of shows it all in like numbers form. So yeah, it looks really, really cool. It looks pretty easy to read too. I'm really glad they made it very, very simple to read. And then a new crystal screen. I actually did not watch this part, so we're gonna watch this together. I have not watched this. So we have a new crystal screen, updated to distinguish champions and items pulled from crystals and any impact on collectives. So let's see. Collectives improved. I mean, it doesn't look terrible. It's gonna just take a lot to get used to. I've looked at that old crystal screen like for most of my life, so it doesn't look bad. It looks pretty clean, and it looks like everything's gonna be mapped out real nicely. But yeah, that's the new crystal screen. I did not know they're adding that. That is pretty cool. And then total rewards across all 6 collectives. We talked about this last week if you want to pause and take a screenshot or whatever. But this is all the rewards you get for certain classes or whatever. But yeah, it's just a lot of Ascension crystals, which is great that you're getting free Ascension crystals just by having a big roster or expanding your roster. I love that. I love that idea a lot. What to expect at launch. We talked about this last week. Roughly half of Valiant Summoners will start in rank 10 or higher. So I'm really keen to see where I start. I'm expecting me to probably start. I guesstimate around rank 10 is actually where I'll start. Before I was even looking at this or saw this slide, I thought I would start around rank 10. That's what I'm betting on. But yeah, someone like Usafa probably start around rank 18 or something crazy like that. But yeah, what to do on day 1. On May 6th, you'll have collectives begging to be ranked. Click the Collectives tab on your roster and rank up all 6 of your class collectives. Collectives do not impact prestige, but they do impact PI. Make a note of your top champion's PI before and after. That's sick. Anything to gain me more prestige, I'm happy. I'm game. And then I believe that is the end of the stream. And then this is the last slide we'll end on. It just kind of wraps up everything. But yeah, that is the end of the Kabam live stream. We've been recording for almost 40 minutes. But yeah, please go down to the comments and let me know if you are hyped for this month. I really am kind of hyped for this month. We did not get an announcement on any new content coming this month, so it might be a little slower month with all the content rolling out. We will have Apex Coliseum ×2. We will have the new side quests and all that stuff. But yeah, but anyways, please drop a like, subscribe, consider subscribing at least. But please drop me a like, please. And comment down what's your favorite thing about this upcoming month and which champion you like the most, Ghost Rider or Wave. I'm personally Ghost Rider. And tell me your favorite champion in the game. They don't have to be your best champion or your highest ranked. What is your favorite champion in the game? But yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.